So this is the final webinar in the series of our PCORI Award, trying to gather our community together to make an impact on our research initiatives. This has been a 2-year project that has taken a lot of time from this group here and others to be able to try to make an effort to move us closer to clinical trial and actually have a larger impact on our community. So just a few housekeeping things. Closed caption is available. The webinar, as you already saw, will be recorded and shared on open platforms. Please keep yourself muted. And then if you're called upon, or if we have some opportunity to ask questions, then please go ahead and unmute yourself. I want to remind everyone that about our mission. Our mission has been consistent for 16 years now. That's to find treatment for Nemelin myopathy. I think I've mentioned it. We hope to go broke finding treatment for Nemelin myopathy, while also providing support to the resources to the community at large. Our agenda today is a general recap of the PCORI Award of this 2-year period, all the different learnings from the project as we have interacted with our community and the research and clinical world. We hope to maximize community engagement, review the mission a couple of times, and then go over a bit about our strategic plan details and discuss a little bit of discussion opportunity, and then some next steps. I really want to take time to thank everyone that was involved in this process, not only the people listed here, others as well, but in particular, the group on the call today has been instrumental in helping us move this entire process forward to engage the community at the highest level possible. So really great thanks to this team. I'll go over the few of the folks here. Lynn Beyer has been a great community support member and board member for numerous years now. Gus, our scientific director and project lead. Sarah, who we will sadly not be able to keep engaged, as I've been our outreach coordinator, kept us on point and organized for this past 2-year period. Stacy Costad's taken on many roles, program director, and Jen Tozer, our development director. And also point person. She also makes these great slides, helped update our website, and all of those things. Terry was our former grant consultant. We have a new grant consultant team now, which we're excited about, the opportunity to kind of recruit from different angles and other grants. But Terry was instrumental in getting us the PCORI Award to begin with. And then just a shout out to our youth ambassador, Greta, who's been involved in these programs as well. I'm going to hand it over to Sarah to take over a little bit more about review of the project.
Thank you, Mark. Hi, I'm Sarah, and thank you for the introduction. And I just want to also do a special
Sarah,
shout out for
mute there.
Hello?
I can hear you, Sarah.
Okay, thanks. I just also want to do an acknowledgement and thank you to the whole team for they really have been working tirelessly over the last 2 years to support this project and the community. So I reiterate what Mark said. So we're kind of going to take a little walk down memory lane for the last 2 years. So when we use that term PCORI, what we're referring to is the Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute, and a foundation building strength was lucky to get this award from PCORI and the point of the project was to help the foundation to engage with stakeholders in the Nemelin myopathy community, to shape Nemelin myopathy research and amplify the voices of the community in order to drive forward meaningful progress in Nemelin myopathy patient-centered research. And as the course of this project, we had world expert and researchers make themselves available to the NM community. And just a summary of the total project overview was that it was 10 webinars over 2 years, which this is our webinar number 10. And it involved surveys. So thank you to everybody who filled out one of those surveys. Stacy was great at creating these surveys and sharing them and getting them out to the community with the rest of the team. And your voices could be heard through those surveys, so thank you. And then part of the process was also identifying and engaging with community partners. We call so there are many people maybe on this webinar who served as CRPs or community research partners or leaders. And we also had SciFam. Do you remember we did that, which was our 4-day scientific family conference, which was held in Nashville, and you're going to hear more about that. We also helped to work to create resources like the NM Resource Kit, which Jen is going to talk about, or the team is going to talk about. And then we also had regional gatherings. So our year 2 gatherings were more regional instead of all of us going to one place. And that was a great opportunity for engaging the community. And then part of this process was identifying priorities for treatment, which we did as part of our webinars and surveys. And you'll hear more about that today. And then we also are looking at tools for community engagement into the future, and how can this project move the interaction and voice and amplify the voice of the community into the future. And also you're going to hear about the time that was spent recently just reiterating and reevaluating and the mission and strategic plan for a foundation building strength, which Mark just outlined. So the next slide is just wanted to show, this was really a list of the speakers and participants, expert speakers at our webinars. And I would say this is like the all-star team of Nemaline myopathy stakeholders. For example, I just recently had a chance to go to the World Muscle Society meeting, which is where experts from around the globe who focus on neuromuscular disease had a chance to gather. And most of these people from this list were at that meeting, either in person or virtually. And for example, when the World Muscle Society experts gather and want to talk about outcome measures or natural history studies, Lindsay Alfano was there, who was one of the speakers at that meeting. And here she was part of our program to speak to the Nemaline myopathy community. So first of all, I'm just really grateful to the team who helped organize all these speakers and to all the participants who did come and connect with the Nemaline myopathy community. And this is a really powerful and rich resource for the Nemaline myopathy community to have these experts sort of at our fingertips, and basically through the webinars from the comfort of your home. And if you're experiencing FOMO, like fear of missing out, don't worry. These interactions, most of them have been recorded and are on. You can find links and information about all of these activities on the website, and you're going to hear more about this today from the rest of the team as well. So I'm going to stop there and turn it over to Gus, and Gus is going to talk to us about a summary of the webinar. So thank you. Thanks for being here.
Hello, everyone. And as Sarah said, we have all the webinars posted on the AFBS website. And so you can go back and watch all or any of them. But anyway, we want to summarize here today the main take-home messages from this webinar series. So, next slide. Next one. There is the website where the webinars can be found. We did highlight in this webinar series the research resources that AFBS has, like the patient registry or CMDIR and the tissue and cells repositories. Stacy will give more details later. For now, I will say that we focus on these research tools because the participation of all of you, the NM community, feeds and makes better these research resources that influence the translational research from the laboratory to the clinics. Researchers and clinicians learn from your tissues and cell samples, from your genetic reports and your medical history, and use the materials and knowledge to create experimental models where they can test different therapeutic strategies, and then move forward to clinical trials those that have real therapeutic potential. And by supporting translational research for making this transition from basic to clinical, we aim at having more treatments more quickly. And just let me give you one example, like the researchers have been using, for example, the cells from some of you patients to create cells, muscle cells, and then not only the muscle cells, individual muscle cells, but putting together in like an organ. So making a 3D skeletal muscle. And so now they can test any kind of drug or gene therapy on that model, and they can measure many functional aspects there. Later, we can talk maybe about other examples. Next slide. We also highlighted the importance of the natural history studies. Natural history studies are clinical evaluations to record what the disease course entails when no intervention is performed, and establishing the best outcome measures. And the outcome measures are the parameters that the researchers can measure that can show a meaningful change when a treatment or intervention is tested. And related to this, to the natural history study, we highlighted the importance of getting genetically confirmed for your specific genetic mutation, since some potential treatments will be precision treatments, meaning that will be applicable to some, but not all the genes or type of mutations of different affected individuals. So we know there are different Nemaline myopathy subtypes, and this information is key when recruiting patients for specific clinical trials. And lastly, we explain some of the research that AFBS is funding or has funded, aiming at treatment development. And I invite you to look for updates on these research projects in the AFBS website. Now, I'm passing this to Mark and Stacy to comment on a couple of other specific webinars of this series.
Mark, you're muted.
Thanks, Lynn. So the webinar 6 was done on February 24th, and in that one we focused on different cohorts of NM, including this session was particularly about the adult affected community. And we know as an organization that we've been primarily parent driven, and the adult community had been a group that hadn't had a large voice. And so we had hoped that in this webinar, we would increase the adult NM voice. So connect more to the adult community, hear more about the adult experience with Nemaline myopathy, in a vulnerable moment, to really try and listen and try and share as much as we could about that experience. So we had it actually, I don't know if you remember, but it was moderated by Levi Gershowitz, who's a film producer, and he was able to give us some guidance and help us with some of the strategic plan development related to the adult community in general. So we're thankful for Levi's support. Truly the content was about making connections, being vulnerable, see where our group could grow. So we think that it was modestly successful. We'd always like to have more people engaged and involved and hear from more of you. So we want to keep an open ear and listen. So please don't hesitate to reach out, engage with our group, any one of the members that are here, or you can always use the info@buildingstrength.org email to send us any notes or messages whatsoever. I'll hand it off to Stacy.
Hi, everyone. So I want to take just a little bit of time to talk about how important the voices of our community have been to our organization and to the future potential of our community having treatment options available to them. Throughout this project, we have asked you about challenges that NM imposes, and we've also asked you to tell us about what meaningful improvement would look like. And your responses have helped to identify priorities, and I just want everyone to know that your voices have been heard, they've been documented, and we're going to go through and take a deeper look at what some of those results have looked like. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is a list of the greatest challenges that our community members have indicated affect their lives. This is based on a survey that went out. We had 117 respondents. And this is the list that includes things like mobility, fatigue, psychosocial, breathing, job-related, costs of care, of equipment, nurses in the home, and really being able to be prepared for emergencies. Next slide, please. And we also asked, what would meaningful improvement look like? Also in that same survey, this is where we asked this question. So out of the 117 respondents, this is a summary of what meaningful improvement would look like for our community. Almost every single person said any functional improvement. So really anything that improves fatigue, that improves their ability to use their upper body, anything at all. And then others were responding in more specific ways, things like stronger lower body, less dependency, better life expectancy, improved mental health, clear spoken communication, less physical pain, stronger upper body, better oral nutrition, independent breathing, and facial expression ability. Next slide, please. And then if some of you remember, we had a gathering in which we just really wanted it to be interactive and ask our community members, you know, what are your areas of concern and what should be prioritized for areas of treatment? And we had a really great conversation among everybody who was with us that day. And the high points of what was discussed included this list of verbalized areas of greatest concern that our community talked about that day. And they were things like breathing impairment, fatigue, muscle soreness, walking or endurance impairment, speaking impairment, swallowing impairment, and cough weakness. So I want to just touch on ways to participate. I know these are all things we've heard about before, but just a short summary of each one. The registry is the CMDIR, and it's found at cmdir.org. It's a patient-completed registry in which you go, you set up a profile, you complete the consent, which is just basically checking a box that says, yes, I agree to be involved. There are a few opt-in questions that you answer, asking if you would like any data sharing to occur with key Nemelin myopathy resources. You can choose to opt into those. And at that point, you've completed the initial part of being registered. Your registry is complete. You always have the option to go back and provide additional information on how the disease is impacting your life or the life of your loved one, but that isn't required at the time that you set up your profile. Another way that you can participate is through genetic testing. I know that a lot of you have already gone through this and you have genetic confirmation, but there is still that portion of our community who hasn't gone through genetic testing, or they did so and pathogenic variant was not found. And what we want to do is provide an additional resource to those people in our community who need a little extra help and guidance in getting that genetic confirmation. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is the Nemelin Myopathy Biobank. This is a program that's been run for probably 11 years now, at the Medical College of Wisconsin in the Lawler Lab. And we are moving that program over to the Banks Lab at Harvard Boston Children's Hospital. From the viewpoint of the community, that move has taken place in that anybody who's interested in participating in the biobanking program will immediately be enrolled in the Boston location. And then behind the scenes, there's still some regulatory things that I'm working out in order to make sure that the program will run the same way that it had at the Lawler Lab location in the Banks Lab location. So if you are having a surgery coming up, want to do end of life planning, feel free to reach out to me and I can get you set up with our biobanking program. Next slide, please. So this is the Nemlin Myopathy Resource Toolkit. This is something that we spent quite a bit of time developing in the last year. And I know many of you on this call contributed to what this content would entail and what it would look like. So thank you all for your input on it. I think this came out really, really great. It's a 2-page PDF. It has hot links to directly take you to all of these really important places to get information, to get connected. It has, I know it's hard to see everything on there, but it has, for example, the AFBS contact survey. And that's just a really simple survey where you put in basic information and that gets you connected with AFBS. You get on the newsletter list and you're hooked in with whatever kinds of events or activities are coming up. Also, the Nemlin and Congenital Myopathy Community Group on Facebook is linked in here if you're a Facebook user and you'd like to join but haven't done that yet. The Nemlin Myopathy's public page is an information hub all about Nemlin myopathy. It is research heavy because that's what most of the updates are related to in Nemlin myopathy. There's a lot of research going on. There's a lot of papers getting published. I think you'll find that page gets updated several times a week. So remember to take a look and stay abreast on what's going on in Nemlin myopathy. Then we also have the Nemlin myopathy resources and support page. And that's just a really quick stop where you can go to find a few of these resources. It's a page that's not encumbered by updated information. So you just go there, you find the resource that you need, and then you move on. And then also the Foundation Building Strength for Nemlin Myopathy Foundation has a Facebook page, an Instagram page, the website, of course, and they also have a YouTube channel.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to talk a little bit about a few new resources that we've developed this year. One is the website. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to take a look at the new website for the foundation. It has a lot of great resources, information about research that Gus has mentioned, and all of the community resources that Stacy covered is all on our website. You can also follow our blog that gives up-to-date information about what's going on with the foundation, with research, and with events. And it also has ways for you to get involved in research and fundraising. So always use that website as a resource. And then on the website, we have, you can go to the next slide. Not only do we have the NM resource kit, but we also have a new NM awareness card that is available for free. It's a pocket-sized business card that is a great resource to bring awareness to NM. You can share it with new connections, educators, anybody that's new to NM. And that's just a free resource for you to have. And we'll share the link in the chat. So if you haven't ordered those yet, we encourage you to do that so you have those available.
Hi, everyone. So we've had a few different opportunities to bring our community together for gatherings and conferences in meaningful ways. The first opportunity was through our SciFam conference. Our NM community joined together with our Cure CMD and Team Titan communities in person and virtually for the 2022 SciFam conference, which was held last summer in Nashville. This was a 4-day neuromuscular conference, and researchers and families came together. Researchers collaborated on their scientific progress and shared their latest discoveries. Our NM community members also were able to join together for our first community research partner meeting, where we had incredible feedback and participation. As we've mentioned several times, we really want our NM community voices heard so that we can make monumental progress together in research. And this meeting was a huge step in the right direction. During the 4-day conference, we heard from a variety of experts in various fields, which offered resources and guidance in areas such as orthopedics, care optimization, physical therapy, nutrition and feeding, pulmonary care, special needs, finance planning, body awareness, and so much more. We also had a new opportunity for young adults in our community to come together. There was a young adult room that gave teens and young adults a chance to connect with their peers and discuss topics that might be just appropriate for them. And of course, we had our kids room where our kids spent multiple days with each other. This room is always a hit. We brought in balloon artists, face painting, science demonstrations, a hands-on reptile experience, karaoke, movie night, all sorts of fun. And that's always a really great experience for the kids in our community. These conferences really offer new and returning members and families and friends a chance to connect, learn, share stories, and just be together in community, which we know is so important for the myopathy population. We also had the opportunity this last summer of 2023, to offer several regional gatherings, which were mentioned earlier. And we had 5 in-person gatherings in Sweden, North Carolina, Ohio, New York City, and California. And then we also had a virtual gathering in Brazil. Really great communities, opportunity for communities to get together during these gatherings, get to know one another, hear from some different experts at those different both virtual and in-person gatherings. So we are just really thankful to PCORI, to our, a foundation building strength, and our partnerships with Cure CMD and Titan, for making these opportunities possible. And, we hope to continue to do similar things in the future. Thanks.
Thanks, Lynn. All those gatherings, both the SciFam and all the regional gatherings were a huge hit. It was great to see the excitement in the photos and even just the engagement overall. Even in the countries, the outside countries that were really well represented. So again, the overall lessons learned is that when communities engage together, the research actually does improve and have a larger impact and a quicker impact. So we know from other rare disease organizations that their work has actually moved treatment to clinical trial expeditiously, and we have plenty of examples of those. You can look at cystic fibrosis, you can look at MTM, you can look at spinal muscle atrophy. A lot of them were very, very patient and parent organization driven. So just really the opportunity there is really that the community has to take some steps and get involved, like the registry that Stacy mentioned. The getting confirmed genetically is another big step. The more people that we have genetically confirmed, the greater the representation that we have in the community, that big pharmaceutical companies will want to spend the money to invest in opportunities to work with us. We've already had some great engagement from some smaller companies like Alterna has actually had some outreach about meeting with our scientists to work on some of the muscle cells and animal models that we've helped produce. So we are seeing some new opportunities for trial work. And then, as you've heard a couple of times, our natural history study is just about to get underway. And as that natural history study gets going, we're going to have greater and greater representation by the scientific community, and we'll be able to present our case to the FDA for approval for eventual treatment. So again, the community's responsibility is really to kind of dig down, get registered, get confirmed if you're already registered, or confirm your information, get the genetic confirmation that we need. Anytime you're actually going to the doctor and considering a blood test, urine sample, anything like that, those tissues can be stored. If you're having a surgery, we can do larger tissue samplings. You know, they're very, very tiny, so they're not going to have any overall impact. And those tiny cells can actually make proliferated cells in the laboratory. So please consider taking those steps. You know, we know that you're a busy community caring for each other. So just please consider that the extra hour or two that it might take to reach out to us and allow us to help support you in this process of getting more engaged, well, we're there for you, and we want to make these steps with you. In general, like on the next slide, you know, some of the community feedback that we heard, and I'll just had a few quotes there. You know, I learned that any small thing, one thing can make an impact on research. How important it is to register and in a research group so scientists can learn more about NM. I learned how extremely important it is to contribute towards research initiatives. Again, super important to actually stay engaged with the community, because the FDA is going to want to hear that our community is engaged as well. I'll turn it back to Jen.
Well, as these webinars come to an end, we want to make sure that you, as our NM community, we want to still hear your voices and have you represented. So we will be launching a new community advisory team, where select few of community members will act as advocates to support AFBS's mission. You'd participate in polls and surveys, give feedback on initiatives, be the voice for the NM community and for the foundation, so you can be represented. We will be reaching out to select individuals who would be a good fit for this, but we also encourage you, if you are interested in being a part of this new community advisory team, to please reach out to us, because we'd love to have you represented and to hear your voice. And you can reach out to info@buildingstrength.org. And as we look to the future, we wanted to share what the foundation is prioritizing. Of course, we're prioritizing the support of and the development of NM therapies. That's always that's the foundation's mission, and will continue to be the priority. While we're doing that, we want to ensure our financial stability so we can support research and our initiatives that the foundation is focused on, while also building out the organization so we have the capacity to do that. And then one of the most important things is maximizing the NM community engagement and patient participation and therapy development, meaning that we need everyone in the community to be a part of research so we can get closer to treatments faster. And so the community's role is critical to advancing research. And so our goal is to keep everybody engaged and involved so we can move as quickly as possible to find treatments for NM.
Thanks, Jen. And just want to make a quick shout out to Laura Lindstrom, who's helping represent the foundation today at a regional MDA gathering at Stanford Hospital. John Day, our medical director and head neuroclinician at Stanford, is engaged and involved today. He's actually speaking on Nemelin myopathy later on today. So any patients that were in the Stanford community were invited to come to that regional work as well. So hopefully that also increases our connection to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and any related works that we can kind of partner with them on. We'd like to thank everyone for coming and give some time and opportunity for anyone to unmute or put a question in the chat. So if we have any active questions, please don't hesitate to send them our way. Again, completely open. No question is silly. No question is something that we want to kind of keep challenging you guys to push us. So please let us know if you have any questions. I'll continue to narrate a bit while I give you guys time to process questions, but Stanford Hospital is finalizing contracts with 5 other North American centers to get our clinical data collection started on the natural history work. And that'll be for kids that are from 0 to 18 years old, to try and gather the most data around that growth phase of people with neuromyopathy. The growing phase is the one that gives us the most information because we see how much change happens during the whole developmental phase. And so that starting point will give us a lot more information about the disease in total. But again, I think some of the communication from the adult community that we've had already and that we continue to share will also influence the direction of research. I see a question coming in. Will there be another series of webinars as AFBS gets closer to the clinical trials? There's no plan currently to actually execute on any regularity, but we definitely can pull these together when we have information to share. As of now, the different regional centers are Stanford in California, Sick Kids in Canada, in Toronto, NIH, Children's Hospital Boston, UT Southwestern, and Gus, is it nationwide or is it St. Jude's? St. Jude's.
St. Jude's.
St. Jude's. And so those are the 6 regional centers in North America. As they get started in clinical trials, we'll hopefully give updates. Are we hitting our recruitment targets? We're trying to get 50 people in total over the course of this next 2 to 3 year period.
And I want to mention that there is also 2 other natural history studies that are going to start next year, one in the UK and one in the Netherlands. And we were sharing the protocol so we can pull all the data together at the end of the study.
Alexandra, thanks for your comment about the monthly gatherings for the adults. I'm so happy that that's going well, and that if we can support that in any way, please let us know.
And I would just like to make a comment. I know that we're all familiar with patient-centered healthcare. It's a concept that's been around for a little while now. And I think all of us are engaging frequently enough in the healthcare system that we kind of know what that means. It's really a concept that relies upon patients being actively involved with, understanding the facts of their health, whatever conditions they have, and then playing an informed role in making decisions for their future health. And what this project is all about is extremely similar to that. It's patient-centered research, and it also relies on a well-informed, actively involved patient and family base who will be using the findings that come from our researchers to make decisions about their future health. So I think it's something that we can all see is important because we want to be, as a community, driving the research forward in meaningful ways. And we would like to have a treatment, multiple treatments available at some point that will really have a meaningful impact on the condition and our lives.
Okay,
Gus, is there, I just wanted to clarify one thing. Gus, is there also going to be a natural history study in Brazil on neuromyopathy?
That's something that there is a big interest. We have a clinician researcher there that was part of the initial discussions in 2019 about harmonizing the natural history study in different parts of the world. So she was looking for funding, and she's very interested in doing the natural history study in Brazil. There are many patients there, and we were sharing in the World Muscle Society meeting last month all the protocols with her. And so, yes, probably a site in Brazil will be going on next year. I cannot confirm 100% right now, but yes, that's the intention.
Okay,
As well
great.
as a European natural history work is in process as well. So we don't have any details on start dates for recruitment, but we know that Laurent Servet out of England is going to be leading that effort. So you should be hearing through our different resource, deliveries, that you'll have an opportunity to kind of work, join those groups as well.
Mark, do you want me to switch back to next steps, and then maybe that will
Sure.
bring up some additional questions?
That sounds great. Thank you. So thanks everybody again. So next steps would be, watch your inbox for a post-webinar survey to give us any other feedback. And then these steps are critical. Talked about, joining the registry, having our numbers represented. Right now, we're under 300 registrants, and not a lot of those are, I should say a majority of those are genetically confirmed, but we still have quite a few that are not, that we don't know about yet. So we'd love to get those genetic confirmations under our belt. We know that there's 1,000 of us out there at least. And so shooting for in the next year, doubling from 300 to 600 would be our primary and first step goal to demonstrating that we represent a larger portion of the Nemelin community. So please get registered if you haven't. Complete the contact list survey. Join Nemelin and congenital myopathy groups on Facebook. Follow Nemelin myopathy pages like on Facebook as well. And then also AFBS, the Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. So if, and again, the steps are pretty well outlined. Get registered. Support the tissue bank if you're going to have any cells being drawn or work being done, would be really helpful. I'm going to give one more minute for people to ask any questions at all.
And while we're waiting, I just want to add that we had another tissue donation occur last week. A patient who had a surgery that was clinically indicated, was already going to occur. Those are really great opportunities for an extra piece of tissue to be collected at that time, because it poses no extra risk to the patient at all. And then we just work directly with the surgical team and have that tissue processed and sent to the biobanking facility. It's no trouble at all for the patient family, for the patient themselves. They will not even realize anything has happened differently, because it's all occurring within the surgical procedure that was happening anyway.
And from someone who's done it in the past, when Greta has had spine surgeries, I've worked with Stacy on this, and it's very, very seamless and easy to do. And Chris, you're right. Like, as they have different surgeries, it's nice to have additional tissue deposited. So please consider that.
And as these tissue resources get used up, of course, we always have a need for more tissues getting deposited.
Sharon, go ahead.
Hi there. My boys had surgeries a number of years ago, and the tissues were given to BEGS, I think before there was a collaboration with AFBS and BEGS. Do you think that do I need to do anything to make sure that those tissues are in your registry, or do you think that he would have automatically put them in your program? Do you know?
Yeah. If you are already enrolled with the BEGS lab, if you've donated tissues many, many years ago, this is all going to be combined into one resource.
Okay.
So there's nothing extra you need to do.
Okay,
Going forward, though, just to give you a little information on what's to come, the Beggs Lab is intending to begin having annual contact with all of their enrollees in order to get updated information on how the patients are doing. So you
Okay.
might be contacted in the future, just, in an interview format, a survey format, to provide an update on how your boys are doing.
okay, excellent.
Yeah.
I might have to reach out to him because I think the contact information, our numbers have changed and our emails have changed. So I'll get him directly. I have another two questions if you have time for them.
Yeah.
My other question is, I registered us as a family, but I can go in and register my boys individually. Would that help with the numbers, like so that you have like 2 listings for our family instead of 1? Just trying to help get your numbers above 300.
So for the registry, we want to make sure that the connection is there, that, your boys are from the same family.
Okay.
So I don't know who you registered initially, but you would have probably registered your older boy.
Probably.
So if you look at that profile, there
Okay.
should be, look for something that says add a family member. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's something like that. And then it's a way for you to add their information, and it's still completely connected with the older brother's information.
Okay.
If you have any trouble finding that, just let us know.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate your time.
Yeah,
You're
AFBS
welcome.
doesn't have access to go digging into the files, so you'd have to reach out to the registry directly.
Okay.
You can check your own profile, and if you're having trouble with username and passwords, then Stacy can definitely help you get to the right folks to be able to kind of update and get reconnected with it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
And I was going just to add that Dr. Alan Beggs has been our scientific advisor forever. So we are always connected with sharing information and samples.
Well, I want to take one more minute to, again, thank this amazing team for 2 years of committed work to really make positive forward progress. We're in the midst of starting a North American natural history study. We're having industry talks with pharmaceutical companies and having lead scientists join our calls. We have, development dollars coming in. We have a new website and new logo and more resources. And a lot of those things could not have happened without PCORI's award and support, but primarily these folks that are committed to working so hard. And I just want to say a special thank you to Sarah for her commitment. I know she has her own organization to worry about in Team Titan, and just stepping in and being able to kind of help us with all the different detail that PCORI requires is amazing. We couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you. You're welcome. It's been an honor to be part of your community.
Thanks, Sarah. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate your time and effort. This is being recorded. If you have any questions or you want to go back to the page, it'll be posted probably as soon as we get the process link from Zoom. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate you all.
Thank you all.
Everyone,
Thank you all.
have a great
Bye-bye.
week.